Okay, we are live. Welcome back to You Found My Notes, hosted by me, your host, Shemeka Bly. For those of you who do not know me, I am a film, audio, and production major here at WPU, William Patterson University. And today I have on Apolonia Mendez. Woo!
Oh,
Alrighty, Apolonia. For those who do not know you, just introduce yourself, what you do, who you are.
so thank you so much for having me on. Hi everybody, my name is Apolonia, like Shemeka said. As far as like what I do and who I am, I just recently graduated college. So I went to Rutgers University and I graduated with a bachelor's in information technology and informatics. And now I'm working full time at a Fortune 500 in the energy sector. So definitely completely different than anything I've ever done before. I guess like who I am is a really hard question too, because like I don't know, I've always been a student my whole life, and now that I'm done and starting to do the whole adulting thing, I feel like I've gotten boring. I don't know what my hobbies are, but I don't know. Me and Shemeka could go way back, and that's why it's so crazy and full circle to be here. I'm very excited.
Very excited to have you on. Y'all, listen, we've been talking about this since finances. We were going to do a whole other podcast back in the day called Penniless. Yeah, it was
Penniless,
Penniless was
or was
crazy.
it? Should it have been poverty stricken?
It should have been poverty stricken the way we grew up.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yo, today it's but no, we would have gotten canceled. They would have been like, why are they cosplaying poor people?
Okay. So today we are actually not talking about money. We are going to this is very exciting for me. I know I do be on here rambling and going off, but I am a girly sensitive girl. Like, I particularly like the movie Barbie. So we are going to be talking about America Ferrera's most powerful speech in the movie. It's a message of empowerment. And I think it'd be fitting if we talked about it even more than money because, it's interesting. I feel like we are very powerful women. I feel like, especially like in Elizabeth, like where we grew up, we were very much go-getter mindset. Like, and we were also in a lot of honors courses in high school. And even we didn't go to the same college. Apollonia, you are from Rutgers, rep your school.
Yes. But no, I agree. I feel like honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had to look up the Barbie speech again because I do remember vividly crying during it. And I do remember it sitting and kind of lingering afterwards, like on Instagram and people were reposting it. I don't know. It's been what, like 2 years now since the
Which
Barbie
is crazy,
movie?
by the way.
Yeah. Insane. Like it literally feels like still I was just dressing up last week in like an all pink juicy tracksuit to go and watch it. So it's actually insane how fast time moves. But I looked it up and I feel like I definitely agree with the way that it's just literally impossible to be a woman.
Yeah, we're gonna go through it. But yeah, so if you are a man in today's society, honestly, you should unleash your feminine side because we're about to dissect this. And if you are not going to play both roles today, then please log off. Because this is pink, this is sparkles. Like she said, the tracksuit is on. We're gonna talk about this. It's literally I don't know if you're on the same website. I'm actually gonna send it to you. It's like in all pink. I'm gonna
This
send it
is
to
like
you.
the most embarrassing thing to admit, but I am on Reddit.
And
I am on Reddit.
I heard
Somebody,
listen.
a Barbie Reddit, posted the full speech and I am on it.
Okay, well, if
Honestly,
you want to be on Reddit, be on Reddit.
no, you're the leader. You take
Okay.
the lead.
Okay. It is literally impossible to be a woman. You are so beautiful and so smart, and it kills me that you don't even think you're good enough. Like, we have to always be extraordinary, but somehow we're always doing it wrong. You have to be thin, but not too thin. And you can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but you also have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane. But if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not too pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women because you're supposed to be a part of the sisterhood. But always stand out and always be grateful. But never forget that the system is rigged. So find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard. It's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And turns out that, in fact, not only are you doing everything wrong, but everything is also your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. And if all of that is also true for a doll just representing women, then I don't even know. Oh my God. Okay. I did butcher it a little, but if you guys seen the movie, please like
No,
oh my God, I'm gonna
it
cry.
was beautiful. I literally was choking up. I had to go on mute.
I'm actually gonna cry. What the fuck? Okay, wait. Okay. I'm just particularly talking about women, and when I say women, I say cisgender, transgender, queer, whatever you want to identify as. Womanhood. Why I feel like this is so emotional, especially now more than ever with the political climate. And I'm gonna talk about it. I don't care. I'm gonna talk about it. You can always log off. I just feel like there's so one, what I want to touch on is I feel like there's a lot going on right now with women as a whole. I feel like we're just all on the same page of not caring, not giving a damn, not giving anybody the time of day who is not obsessed with us as we should, which is so contradictory and such a contrast to like what we've been taught throughout school, what back in the day was, where people like women were not allowed to wear pants, or we see women like literally just now finding themselves out of marriages. So I feel like now we're in such a like it's not weird to us because we are women in today's society in 2025, but the fact that like moms, sisters, daughters, like just women across the board can sit down and tell us a story of how they have settled in the past and how we don't take that now is so crazy to me.
It really is. And I think, oh my God. And I don't know if you saw this, right? But Vogue actually posted an article called like, "Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now?" or something along
Oh
those
my
lines.
God. I remember I heard that going around.
Yeah, so in the article, obviously like the title is on purpose like inflammatory so that you're gonna click on it. There's a lot of women or even men, which was really weird to me, right? But I mean, I
Here we
guess it
go.
makes sense because you're out here attacking their ego or whatever. When you click into it, it's not really an attack on men or I don't know, their lack of status or whatever. It's more about the fact that being a woman in today's society can be so much more than who you're married to and who you tie down to and your family. And for so long, women have only ever been traditionally tied down to those things. And I think it's so weird. And I think the reason why like I get to be so freaking heated is because I am a young professional woman who's been very clear and adamant from a very young age. Like when I was 14 years old, when I was getting my first period, I knew I didn't want to have kids in my early career. Very early on, I said I would never have kids now that I have a boyfriend and, someday hope to marry him or whatever. Yes, maybe I'll have kids, but I don't see that down the line for another 10 years. And I don't see marriage down the line for me, at least for another 5, actually 6 years, because I don't see getting engaged for me for at least another 5 years. And so my timeline is really weird because my family seems to want to know what's next. But I don't ever see men getting asked what's next after they've landed a
Oh my
job
God. And I want
that,
to talk about that. Yep.
yeah, after they've graduated, after they've received their career, and after they're literally working their dream job. I never see men getting asked when they're going to settle down when they are just on the cusp of beginning their professional careers. It makes no sense to me why the notion of women go to college and then get married is so I don't know. There's no such thing as an MRS degree, and it's so political too. It's so annoying. I hate it, and I just feel like a lot of women are rebelling to this notion and this idea that femininity and womanhood is about being a mother or somehow tied to being a wife.
And that's what she's and this and you know what, tying it back to the speak, this is exactly what she's talking about. First of all, for you to even come on, whoever wrote that needs a raise. Somebody pay his rent. Literally, for you to come on and say you're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. Like, I don't even think we dissected that part. You're supposed to, which means, and if you've watched the movie, you've seen the progression. And she's a girl boss. I don't remember her name in the movie. I'm so sorry. But America Ferrera in the movie is literally a powerful woman. She's working at a corporate job. Like she's an illustrator. I think she's an illustrator. And she's literally like picking apart. I don't know if you remember this. She's like picking apart her drawings of Barbies, and then it's not until the patriarchy in the world of Barbie is threatened and everything is in shambles where these weird Barbies come out. You know, do you remember that in the movie?
Wait, what do you mean? Like, where she? Yeah, no, I remember like the mom's career and sort of like how she was like a big Barbie like lover, but her daughter wasn't. So
But like in the movie, it when it starts to progress is when everything, like, you know, when it goes to shit and like Ken is Ken and his men are like trying to take over everything. And it's just because Barbie broke up with Ken and it's a whole thing. These weird Barbies start making it. Weird Barbie comes in. Barbie goes to visit Weird Barbie in Barbie
oh my
World.
God, yes,
And
yes, I do
there was
remember.
another character of Barbie, and she was like, I don't know if she was pregnant Barbie, and there was another type of Barbie, and they were like, I didn't even know she existed. Like, you know, do you remember that?
Yeah,
One, it makes me sad because that line of you're supposed to love being a mother, like clearly the whole movie, you can see that America Ferrera is exemplifying everything about a girl boss or a bad bitch, right? She's creative, she's in her corporate job, she's literally, are you kidding me? She's working for this $1 million company that's run by men, centered around a doll, by the way. Okay. So just take that in. Why I mention it is she's so much more than a mother, which in the entire movie, that's her character, the mother of, like, because her daughter makes an appearance and I feel like is a vital role that she plays, you know, the daughter coming in and showing that I don't really care about any of this, you know, like I don't care about Barbie, I don't care about Ken, like I don't care about, she doesn't even like her damn mom in the movie, for real. You can tell one, how that weighs on her as a mother of like your kid not loving her, but then you see in the speech, her daughter looks at her and is like, well, that's what I've been trying to say, like even tying it to the beginning of the movie where she's like, when the daughter brushes Ken and Barbie off because she doesn't care about it, like she's not into the sappy like pink shit, like she doesn't care. So when her mom was giving the speech, she even like looks up, like she's tapped in because she herself is a young woman. She's a teenage daughter. I feel like that just goes to show that the movie is trying to portray like how women are so much, they're multifaceted. And this is something that I like briefly talked about on another episode, but like not really. And tying it back into today's society, that women can do more. Women are just so much more than a mother, which is like, duh. We knew this. You know, we knew this is not news. But saying that in the speech of saying like, you're supposed to love being a mother is like, this is not what she wanted to do, for real. You know, this is a part of womanhood that it's giving like, this is the next step. Like you were saying, like, this is just the next thing you do, you know?
yeah. It's weird because I think the Barbie movie did a good job. And honestly, now I don't want to get trolled because there are some people that say that the Barbie movie was over glorified or maybe like kind of did feminism in a more like, I don't know. Some people were mad at it. And you know what? I can
And I don't
understand
give a
it. I think
damn.
people,
Like,
I think no, but I think some of the arguments are valid. But I think at the end of the day, when we're using Barbie and when we're marketing Barbie and we're trying to market to a broader audience, we can't just fucking throw like you
you're
have
good.
to appease to the palate of a lot of people. So I think Barbie did a great job of exposing a super quiet but persistent cultural truth, and that's simply
Yeah.
that
Oh
women
my
are
God.
expected to romanticize motherhood even when the world ignores everything else they cultivate, because we're talking a lot about the mom character, and I agree with everything you're saying. Barbie herself is not a mother, but
Yeah.
Barbie is an endless figure of creation. She's a doctor, she's a
Yes,
scientist,
yes,
she's
yes,
a
yes.
diplomat, she's a writer, she's an architect, she's a president. She has every version of possibility, and she's allowed to build, achieve, and succeed without ever being asked when she plans to settle down or have children or have a boyfriend. Ken is her friend. And ironically, this freedom only exists in Barbie land. Yes, Ken is her friend. Let's emphasize that one.
Did y'all hear her?
And
Like that is not her man. Like she's not like, and I'm so glad they wrote her character like that. That man was doing way too much in the movie. I was low key feeling bad for the guy.
Poor Ken. Didn't he have that one song that Loki like ate? God, I have to watch the Barbie movie again. I was not prepared for this. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I feel like I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the song that.
But yeah,
No, we
I
gotta
think
get back
the
on track.
motherhood
Go
line is
ahead.
very real. I think, I get you. It's crazy. There's a lot of things we could talk about with this speech. It's just like, it's insane because you just kind of derail.
Oh my God, isn't it? What was the thing he had on his shirt? It was like
Ken enough.
Knuff.
Knuff.
Be quiet.
You're Knuff.
Okay, this is.
Well, okay, but time out. Can we talk about it? I think that, first of all, I love Ken. If Ken IRL, right? Like obviously if Barbie Land Ken came IRL, yeah, we're all laughing or whatever, but I think he is a girl's best friend. And I think there's nothing wrong with Ken because he is very in touch with every single side of himself. He is confident until obviously Barbie lets him a little down, but for the most part, Ken is like an average, cool, nice man. And I think that, yes, obviously like his character is played off as like he kind of does everything for Barbie, but in real life, like men are horrible, actually.
no, actually, like she's not
And
fucking
like,
lying.
you know what? Poking fun at a fictional character that loves women should never, 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 never amount to the amount of hate that I saw some people. Like, some men were literally so upset by Ken's character for whatever the reason may be.
Are you serious? This is not. I'm not. I want to be clear. I'm not laughing at men or Ken being attacked. I'm because we're talking about a movie here and a doll. If you've watched it, it's just like y'all. What are y'all on about?
Well, yeah, no, I think men just, not all men, but most men, get like very easily intimidated by their like, I don't know, they need to show that they're masculine at all times. It's very, very frustrating. But I think it's like, you know what pisses me off? It's more like
Go ahead.
because you know what, like I feel like our generation of men are very like, they're particularly feminine, and I personally like that. Not all of them, of course, but
No,
I
they're
don't know,
getting
you
up
have your
there.
performative,
They
yeah,
getting
you
up
have your
there.
performative males, you have a lot of sassy men, and you know what, sometimes that can be annoying, but whatever. I feel like the younger men, the 7 to like 13-year-olds of today, maybe like the 16-year-olds max, they're very redneck, conservative, I hate women.
But
Like,
then you get on TikTok. We're going off track, but you know it's gonna. I'm gonna circle it back in a minute. They literally. This is so. I know this is coming off as like, well, two girls have a microphone and they're recording a podcast about men, but no, stay with me. They're literally. They're funny as hell. Like if you be on TikTok, y'all, and like you said, they be painting their nails. They got some style. Oh my gosh, and the performative men with the freaking book. They like y'all. If y'all know what I'm talking about, like this
a
is
little
not
matcha in hand.
right, little matcha. Like this is not a jab at all. What you were saying?
My boyfriend is a
go ahead.
performative male. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Also, yeah, fully. She's in a just for if anything, she got the credit because she has a actual man. Listen, this is like we have a range here. We have different perspectives. We're not just
Right,
talking.
this is perspective. Literally,
we're not
we're
just
not
coming
just two
on
bitches
here.
that sit in a room and keep confirming the same bullshit to each other.
Yeah, and honestly, the ride has been very bumpy to get here. By the way, guys, like honestly, this goes so perfectly with the speech. Oh my god, because what you were saying about going back to that article that you saw of is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend? I saw that comment in somebody's TikTok comment section. They were talking about the worst thing to be right now is somebody's girlfriend, and you know what? Yeah, because. And honestly, this isn't even about feminism at all when we say this statement. I feel like now everybody in Gen Z is on the same page of we are not having kids. We're not doing this. We're not doing this traditional lifestyle y'all wanted back in the day. I feel like both men and women as a whole, if you're in your early 20s, I feel like we're both looking around the room like when somebody from back in the day want to come up talking about some settle down. You know what I mean? So like it's just we're not doing that. It is a little bit embarrassing to have a boyfriend now. I'm not you. I'm just saying this is because we're young and turns. We're out, we're partying, but then there's also this contrast of like low-key chasing the corporate lifestyle, which is a whole nother thing. And it's so crazy how much that in itself has evolved since the movie has dropped because I feel like that mindset wasn't even around when the movie had dropped. I feel like, yeah, I don't know what was going on in 2023, to be honest with you, but I know I wasn't thinking about this. I just remember sitting in the theater and I was like, damn, I need to break up with my boyfriend right now. This is actually not, you know what I mean? When we say it's embarrassing your boyfriend, like, we're not about to sit here and settle for less. I feel like that's what's most shocking to me. to me right now and to us, I feel like as a generation, it's so shocking to like women now that what do you mean you were in a marriage that you didn't like? You know what I mean?
It's insane. And I think that it, like, not to tie it back, but to tie it back, like to the article, it's not that it's actually embarrassing to have a boyfriend, right? It's not a literal, it's a cultural commentary thing. Like when people say it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend, they're not attacking your boyfriend. It's really just a critique on how women are sort of socialized to center men's approval to be the whole basis of their life. I think it's more about the performance of heterosexuality in particular than like the relationship itself. I think that as like people continue to talk about these topics and about how straight relationships can sometimes pressure women to shrink themselves in all ways, right? Aesthetically, emotionally, socially, we begin to see that calling it embarrassing is sort of a tongue-in-the-cheek way of reclaiming like just your self-autonomy, you know?
For sure.
I don't know. I think that I think I don't know. So there's like this thing that I said to like one of my coworkers the other day. The way that you see like the boyfriend memes in pop culture, it's just men are like visually chaotic, okay? And that's very different. The high aesthetic and the world of womanhood, right? So I think that part of the joke is that the personal brand, right, of femininity and womanhood is peace and calm and harmony and grace. And then there's just this man we date who owns like 3 shirts.
Yes.
It's just add-on.
and you know what else? It is a lighthearted, I will agree with you. It's like a lighthearted, funny way of the tough friend that's like, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you mean you have a boyfriend? It's like that. Oh my gosh. It just okay. So that definitely stuck out to me in the article because like, and don't talk about your kids all the damn time. And y'all already know we're not even gonna be on here talking about kids. I'm so sorry. I'm saying that as somebody who has nieces and nephews, and also I have friends. Like I have a friend who has a kid. So like I'm not being serious. I'm just saying we're not about to be doing this old fashioned thing. And that's another when we say this stuff, it doesn't mean that when women say this stuff, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Because I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not politically speaking for all women here because that's crazy. What I'm saying is, me saying that I don't want to have kids right now does not mean that screw them kids. It means I have things I want to accomplish. I have things I want to do. And I want to experience love. Of course, every girl wants to experience love and holding hands and the cutesiness and like everybody wants that ring. I want that ring. Like, of course, we want the damn ring. You know what I mean? Of course, we want the fairy tale, and we're not gonna settle for anything less than that. So you can go sit down somewhere. That's what we're like saying, and I think that's what. A theme, that's another reason why people are taking that it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend, because most of the time, as we just said, there's people who are getting divorced. It's like they settled for the nice guy or somebody who just did the bare minimum. They settle for things that are the bare minimum, when it's like, why would I settle for the bare minimum when I could just do what I want and it'll come when it comes. And it's going to be fantastic because I'm not going to settle for somebody. It's going to be sunshine and rainbows. You know what I mean? Like, so when we're saying things like, screw them kids, or I don't need to date, like, I'm actually so good being single, it's not like a jab. I'm waiting for what I want.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's rough. It's a rough dating world for everybody in general. I feel like nobody's really worried about, honestly, like whether or not they're gonna. I personally think, right? I know there's some women that, like, you know, kind of dream about being a mom from like a very early age, and that's totally fine too. That's something that's so admirable of a person, you know. That's just not the lived reality of every woman. So I think that whenever anybody tries to challenge it, men and anybody that kind of tends to stand on the side of a traditional life gets very threatened. I think that aside from being a mom, something else that kind of stood out to me was, I don't know, the fact that like nobody says thank you. Like nobody actually ever sits back and like thinks about women or the way, or okay, actually that's gonna get not a lot of people mad, but I think that,
well, I don't actually care. I don't actually care. This will be for somebody else. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that all in all,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Women, it's hard. Women is, I was saying that I don't like the fact that nobody ever says thank you, when you do things that are good or like commendable as a woman, it's just expected of you. I think of my cousin, right? She has 3 kids and she's also like nannying and making some money on the side, right? And like doing all these things, but nobody is ever like, wow, she has 3 kids and is like doing all these things because she's a mom. And that's just what every mom and woman does all around the world, not just in America. It's weird because it's not expected of men, right? Like men get to go to work and then come home and have dinner cooked and then sleep and then use work
Bro,
as
that's
an
just
excuse.
gonna piss me off. It's
Yeah,
gonna
there's
piss
a
me
lot of
off.
emotional labor that women do that we don't get recognized for. And I think that emotional labor is so undervalued by everybody. And when you start talking about it, people think that you're like, you're some sort of snowflake, some sort of like baby. But no, it's mentally tasking to be a woman and to be expected to be all these things at once. It's not like we're asking for like pity. We're just asking you to look at us as other human beings, right? Like I really don't understand. And it's not just feminists of today saying that it's hard to be a woman, right? Women years ago were freaking killing themselves because it was so it was so weird and odd to not like your place as a woman, right, back in the day, that they didn't know what it was called. They literally called it the problem with no name. But what it was depression. Like women were depressed because all they did was stay at home
Yeah.
and cook and clean. And this is like a vast wave. Like people write about it. Like I learned about it like in history class in college, of course. It was like a feminist history class. But there's writings about these and people looked into it. And it's like if the whole fucking nation of America, right? If the whole body of women in America are suffering from something, then maybe we need to start thinking about the cultural norms or beliefs that we uphold to quite literally make women hate every single day of their lives.
Right. Oh my God.
And I think violence against women is only getting worse, which is also scary.
Especially in New York. Yeah, it's low key. Well, I don't think it's died down. Listen, I just didn't see it on the news.
Yeah.
No, she's right. It is so contradictory. Like, what literally wanted to make me weep. The last part, I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. First of all, that's another thing. Take that, and then you see you're aware of it, and then you see somebody else go through it, and then you have to see it again and again and again. And it's just like it's a common truth. We know this. This is not new information. So what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, why is it still happening? And it's like, that's why we sit back and we say, you know what? Literally forget it. Not only that, she says, and if all of that is also true for a doll, I'm gonna cry. A doll just representing women, then I don't even know. That is so. The reason why I want to cry is because think about everything we just said, and then dolls, and think about a doll. I don't know what type of, I don't know, now it's changing because men have dolls too, action figures, whatever the hell. You're oftentimes like, as a kid or a girl or a toddler, like your first toy is a doll. And when you are playing with doll, I don't know about y'all, but when I had a Barbie, like she had the race car, Kayla had the Barbie dream house, like we was lit. We were very excited to play with these dolls. I don't know what, there's got to be some psychological like study on this. Just even the nature of playing with dolls or toys is so like wholesome and so youthful. And then it turns into something so like ugly because it's certain questions, like, you know, when you have a doll, it's like you're dressing her, you're doing her hair, and then we're just talking about Barbie, which stereotypically is a white woman with blonde hair, straight blonde hair. So imagine being a person with color having a doll with a white person, blue eyes and straight blonde hair, which isn't bad, but oftentimes now it's better. But oftentimes growing up, that's what I saw. I wasn't really seeing, like my brother had to go and pick out a Barbie with nappy hair, was black. And then it's like, then they're skinny. Okay, first of all, I have a fupa. I'll say it. I don't care. There's like so much like body image and stuff. It's like, it's just like, if it's all true for just representing the woman, it's just like girls are even the basis of distincting a doll from an action figure is just so like, just instilling this stuff into kids' heads. It's just a lot to even have to break that down to people. It's just a lot, and you don't get it unless you're a woman. So that really that made me emotional because what do you mean? I was like, oh yeah, I had to remind myself we're watching a movie about Barbie, and then it just turned into something so emotional. And it's true, it's so sad. Like all this stuff, you have to kind of mask it or not really talk about it when you're playing Barbie with your kid, you know what I mean? Naturally those questions are going to come up about Barbie and, oh, how do you do your hair, how did she, you know what I'm trying to say here? Like,
No, I get it, because I think it's weird, because like what you were saying about like the last line being, if all of this is also true for a doll just representing women, then I don't even know, and sort of like how it's tied into like, I think like that what makes it really bad and what makes it like really heartbreaking is that you realize all of this starts very early on, right? Like
yeah,
women, or we, and once again I want to reiterate that when we say women, we are also including transgender women and anybody that identifies as a woman, because I think we share a lot of things in common, right? And I think that I can't speak for the trans community or for anybody who is not like a biological woman, right? But that identifies as a woman. But I think that a lot of these injustices or these things or these shrinking of ourselves are faced amongst these communities too. We don't just wake up, right, as adults trying to minimize ourselves. We're trained from it. From the moment we're children, right? Little girls are taught to be really pretty before they're taught to be curious. And we get praised for being polite, right? Being quiet, well behaved, having table manners, brushing our hair, putting in bows. But boys, right? Boys, they're raised to be bold. They're highlighted for being funny and adventurous and for wanting to try new things. And none of this is on purpose, right? It's just so deeply ingrained in the way we in our society, right? The way we live, our culture. It's not like parents are like, like you said, it's hard to talk about these questions or like bring them up. It's not like parents are sitting there with a handbook and saying, this is how you're going to be a boy, this is how you're going to be a girl. I know some parents might be, but for the most part, that's not really what happens. It's just a million of tiny little layers that reconfirm this idea that in order to be a woman, we must be palatable to everybody else around us. It's the tiny comments like, when you have to smile for the photo, or you just have to let your brother go first, or you have to serve a plate for a family member who definitely has two hands just because he's a man. I don't know.
right.
And I think that as we get older and we talk about being a girl boss, right? We talk about getting into these spaces of higher education or these spaces of corporate America, right? We're taught to also sort of become invisible, right? And it's weird, right? Because I there's a lot of trailblazing women doing so many amazing things out in the field who we do highlight, right? But for the most part, or at least my experience, I can't speak for all women, I felt like it's kind of hard, right? To I don't know, it's hard to be one of the only women in a room
And
and
that right
not feel
there,
like you have to perform.
yes, that right there. I'm going to talk about that too. And I'm going to talk about this for anybody who is a film, audio, and production major. Okay. I'm just going to say it. One of my classes, I'm the only woman in my class. Then you put the only woman of color. But it's like a damn, like, where are the people? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it was just, you notice it. It's just one of the things you notice it. It's like, oh, I'm the only woman in my class. Then my other class is like night and day. You don't really see. We actually, our film department, no shade, like Loki, we do have a lot of women in power. So that's actually a slay. But even in
And that's
these rooms,
surprising because
yeah, go ahead.
film is no, I was just gonna say, because you said that your department has a lot of women, and that's awesome. But
It
like
is.
film school and the film industry in general is very much oversaturated by men. I think that
Yes.
like film is a predominantly male like area sector, and I can only say this, right, from what I witnessed from my old roommate who was a film major, right? And so she was a woman in film, and so many there were other women in film, of course, but most of her classes there was, and of course this is a big state university, but there was 3 to 5 women out of a course of like 50 to 60 kids. It's not a lot of us in some of these spaces. Little girls aren't taught to dream to be whatever they want to be. I think the more that we progress and like the older I get, I've definitely seen it get better. I don't know, with my own cousins, even like my older cousins who are only about 5 years older than me, right? I definitely saw as a young child the way that my family kind of influenced them to act a certain way because of their gender. And then also to talk about the thing that you were talking about, also like being a woman of color and like the only woman of color in your classes as well. That's also
Yeah.
important, right? Because when we talk about like how hard it is to be a woman, we also have to talk about how hard it is to also have that be stacked against all the different identities that you carry. Because being a woman isn't a single experience, right?
Yes.
Womanhood is not a black and white, a shallow experience. And
Right.
that's what I was talking about earlier. Sorry, like I'm gonna wrap this up, but that's what I was talking
No,
about
it's
earlier
okay.
with like I feel like a lot of like when we talk about womanhood, right? Like I'm not excluding it to only biological women because womanhood can also be a woman who is a part of the LGBT community or
Hmm.
whatever. Like a lot of these, it's hard to be a woman, period. And then you have to
And to
sit
go on
here.
top of
Uh
that,
huh.
by the way, being a woman in the LGBTQ community, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say it. This is not a ploy for men. This is not, we're not doing it for you to watch. You know what I mean? We're not entertainers. We're not like a woman who's genuinely in love with another woman.
Yes.
Like this is not and it all does tie back to patriarchy. And I'm sorry, it is what it is. And if that threatens you by hearing it, like as a man, you need to look in the mirror or you need to look at your friend group because that right there, I see this way too many times. I'm a part of the LGBTQ community. I'm bisexual. I don't really have a lot of experience. This is not about me, but like I'm just saying, like
This is not about me. My
this is not
goodness.
about me. Like I will dissect my me and my sexuality
Oh my
another damn
God, the
episode.
love life episode.
The love, bro. The y'all don't even know. Y'all probably like this girl just yapping. No, no, I know what I'm
I'll be
talking
the
about.
host for that one. It's gonna be your leaked therapy tapes.
It's going. Yeah, that's why you found my notes, y'all. I'm serious. Like this is literally so crazy. Like, but no, what I want to say is, I feel like so often people are like, I feel like even with just that's that's even going back with gender. It's like with a homosexual relationship with men is one so much more demonized, by the way, because of the patriarchy, but also with women, it's patronized as well in such a disgusting fetish type of way. Like, let women be. This is not an act. This is not a porn genre. I'm just gonna say it. Like,
Oh,
this is not
oh,
and same thing for transgender women. Like, this is not a porn drama. This is not something in the
yes.
closet. These are real life experiences that none of us, like, you cannot like hide from this type of discrimination, this type of disgusting just like attack on women and just everything about it pisses me off. We're taught to be quiet and it's like we never get to ponder. We never get to ponder. There are so many, and this is what makes me like that emotion of just they don't get it. There's so many multifaceted women like who have so many different career avenues, so many different interests, so many different styles. We can be masculine and feminine. We can do whatever we want, and so can men. But I feel like in this society, it's just like if you even try, you're like you get slapped. It's weird. And then it's then there's so many, and I wrote about this in my college essay, like first ever college essay about, and I named it the butterfly. It was a spin on the butterfly effect. I don't know if you remember that. It was about,
Yes.
yes, like yeah, yeah, my comm major coming out. Don't even piss me off. Like they literally, like I talked about the intersectionalities of myself. Like I'm a woman, I'm a black woman, a bisexual. Like those three things in itself are crazy. You're not gonna get that with we hearing the words white man. So sorry. Like you're not, I mean, maybe it's today's society, but like that's a whole other. But like, you know what I mean? So it's just if we're talking about a doll and we can't even have a conversation about if is there a Latino Barbie? What are we supposed to say? Like then I don't even know. Like she's right. Cause like what are we gonna do? Like it's just so, and this is again, I feel like universally, if you were in theaters and you heard this speech, there was a pin drop after this because it was just like a big, well, what the heck? Like it's just a big weight, everything just in front of you. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Even Barbie looked up from that. And like the crazy Barbie in the back looked like you could just see every woman around just taking a moment, hear everything that was being said. Like it's just impossible to be a woman. Like, especially because in the movie, Barbie is a white woman stereotypically, and she's crying. She's crying because she feels like she has ruined Barbie Land with the patriarchy and everything. Even though she was literally just being herself. She was being herself and Ken was her friend. And stereotypically she is so beautiful. She is smart. Like even down the street as a doll, you can even see the contrast with her coming out of LA. literally like coming out of the contrast of Barbie world and coming straight into California on roller skates, you see the difference of how Ken is treated in society versus Barbie's already getting catcalled by construction workers. And she was never taught that before, but she can tell that that's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's just things like that that are exposed at a very young age, and things that are exposed that are like, are just for a doll. We're talking about Barbie, and she just went into a different town and she's already facing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's so funny that you bring up the way that like Ken was treated like when he came to the real world, because it's like Barbie symbolizes that like women do want to be like these super like just obsessed with themselves, but not in the bad way, right? Like in the good way, like obsessed with being better versions of themselves and just obsessed with their own lives, right? Without needing to add value to them through relationships or through men or through any other sort of like external validation, right? But as soon as she hits the real world, it's not that anything about that changes, right? It's not that any of her ambitions or her previous beliefs are changed. It's rather that they're challenged by a society that treats Ken completely differently, right? Because we see Ken leaving Barbie Land all like sad and shit, and then he hits the real world, and honestly, the best way I could put it, somebody gave Ken a freaking red pill. I was so upset. Like
Mm.
he was starting to get on his little I hate women arc. And honestly, like I think that gender treatment on both sides, it's an extreme thing, and it's definitely a problem. I don't know. I don't think the movie's saying that men are bad, women are good, but it's definitely saying that the power is unbalanced, and in the end, right, everyone loses, right?
Hmm.
Ken ends up realizing that he's losing his self-worth because Barbie validates him, and vice versa. Well, not vice versa, that's not what's making Barbie lose her self-worth, but she's realizing that her autonomy doesn't exist because she's only boxed into perfection. And I think that's really the point, right? That patriarchy doesn't just limit women, it limits men too. It forces everyone into roles that, let's be honest, while some men may be perfectly comfortable, right? Lying, but whatever. Some men seem to think they're perfectly comfortable with performing this upscale show of like masculinity, right? There's men that don't feel that way, right? That's why mental health is important and is so underlooked, and that it is a problem, right? And why men can't seem to admit that they're sad or they need help. It shows us that like these roles, right, these boxes, they don't allow us to really be ourselves, and they don't allow us to just be human, right? Human beings, regular human beings with agency, identity, and complexity, right? It's not I'm a man, I'm a woman. There's so much more than that. So I don't know. I think the movie was really good.
Yeah, please go watch that movie. And if you, and brownie points if you were a man who accompanied her woman in pink as well. Yeah, period. I hope you said nothing, because if you did, then you ruined it. But like, actually, like, I thought it was so cute during what a time to be alive. I can't believe it was like literally 2 years ago. That's actually crazy. That movie literally changed my life. Like, not even on no funny shit. Like, I literally, that made me break up with my boyfriend, the first one, because it was like my first boyfriend in college, and like I just was like, this is not, no, what the hell am I doing with this man? And he's like he doesn't even, he wouldn't even think about my personality. I probably wouldn't even be doing something like this if I was still with him. And that's not what the movie's about. That's not what if anything, that's not sisterhood. I feel like women are doing a really good job of being a girl's girl, or being for each other, and like holding each other accountable as well. And I feel like I have so many powerful women in my life, and you're one of them. And I don't mean power in a like a boss ass bitch way. I do mean it like that, because obviously obviously we get shit done, one bad bitch to another. But I mean, like, just in general, of like, I am so grateful for my chosen friends and family, of just how they get the fact that you don't have to just be in a box. There's not one thing, and how you're not subject to your environment. You're not a product of your environment. You're a product of your own decisions and everything that exemplifies you as a person. And you just so happen to be a woman. I don't know. I guess I guess women have a point. But like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It just, when dissecting this monologue, I was so glad we did this, and I'm so excited Yeah, we got to talk about this movie because literally nobody. I'd be in this room tweaking, or I'm on my phone with my audio message, or my notes app, literally like dissecting it, or just like it makes you think. It's good to know that like other people get it, and it's like of course you're gonna get it because like you're you. It's just like refreshing. So
Yeah. Honestly, I agree. I think that we were talking about like girl friendships or whatever, and I think like girlhood and like sisterhood is like dead ass like the best kind of hood. And
yeah,
I don't know. I think my female friendships have definitely like saved me in some really dark times. So I don't know. I think I agree. I think that as women, we have to stand together. I feel like for me, right? If I take anything, right, from the Barbie movie, right, to kind of close it off or tie the knot, it's that
oh,
I think back to like the weird Barbies, right? Like the Barbies that you mentioned earlier in the script and how like everything was kind of falling apart. But I think that that's sort of like what it took for Barbie to realize or kind of start having like her little arc, that like, damn, like maybe not everything's perfect. So I think if we leave with anything, right? You need to be a weird woman, right? Like
no,
you need to
literally,
be strange, and it's not because I want you to get made fun of, right? But you need to be so uniquely yourself that maybe it does make others uncomfortable, right? Because they're not as comfortable with themselves as you are. And it's right. You have to Deviation is the first step for freedom, right? Women have like been conditioned for centuries to self-regulate, and like we were talking about that earlier with the whole, oh, like we have to do this, we have to smile this way, we have to do that, and we have to smooth our edges, and we have to dilute ourselves and our instincts and optimize ourselves, right, to be able to fit into all these little molds all at once. And it's so contradictory, like it mentioned in the speech. I think that we lose parts of ourselves and us, and those parts might have changed the world. So don't lose them. The woman that history remembers is just the woman that's culturally rerouted everything, right? They've been able to reimagine possibilities. They were always labeled strange first. I always think back about like the bloomerites, like that's literally like a slur right now. I think, oh my God, don't cancel me. Women who used to ride bikes, right? Bike riding was just for men, and they were seen as weird, and they were told that even like medics came out saying that like you were not going to be able to have babies because you rode a bike and bikes weren't designed for women. And now we know that's like wrong, right? Like that's not even medically possible. I think it's so important for women to remember that strange, weird, odd, any ugly word that anybody ever tries to use for you as a woman because you are yourself, it's just an early vocabulary that people use when they don't yet have the framework to fully understand you. Be so confident and ready to be the woman that disrupts the script and the woman that refuses to contort herself into any sort of narrow bandwidth of what's considered appropriate. Just be a weird woman. And I think that's exactly the kind of woman I intend to be every day that I wake up.
absolutely. Y'all are gonna get the cookie
So
dish.
yeah.
I don't care. I mean, all those times that I've been in the room talking to myself. Yeah, well, look now. This you better please be weird. Like, oh my gosh. I think that was beautifully said, and I think I love girls and be a girl's girl. Do not please
Yes, be a
like
girl's
seriously.
girl.
It's not worth it. You're gonna get looked at weird. You're gonna like you're gonna be in
We
that group
need
chat. You're gonna be on what's that
Rebecca
app?
T. I'm
See,
telling you, we need to
oh,
we need to do another episode where we go down our shitty like love life history, because I feel like we have crazy stories.
we do.
And you just brought up T, and I just have like the craziest story from T.
Oh
We
my
need to do a
god,
gossip
we
episode, and
do. We
we
do.
need to dissect how gossip has saved women for centuries. Actually,
Oh my god. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna write that down actually. And when I tell you that that's coming, and it's not gonna get canceled because it's our gossip, okay? And we're gonna make up names,
exactly.
okay? You're not gonna
Yes.
get me, okay? Not playing.
Oh my God. One of my favorite podcasts besides yours, once it's aired,
Oh my god.
is it's literally called like gossip something. It's like gossip. It's called something gossip, right? But it's literally just a show about like girlies like telling like not bad gossip. It's not like, oh, like she got him pregnant or whatever, or vice versa. It's
Mhm.
like I shit my pants on my boyfriend's house. And it's like very like awkward stories, and they're just like funny, but it's just like I love gossip.
Yeah, nah, it's like that. I love you. Thank you so much. We're gonna talk after a little bit, but I know you gotta eat. So we're gonna cut
Yes.
this short. I'm gonna end and close
Well,
out.
thank you so much for having me.
Yes, if you want to promote your IG, you can.
Oh,
I'm at
of course.
Meckav, Meckav on Instagram. Once again,
Oh, and then if you want to follow me on Instagram because you want to follow a man hater, no, just kidding. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Apollonia, and that's spelled APOLONIUH. And that's on IG.
Hell yeah. You're actually the second person on the podcast who's been in a frat slash sorority. So this is exciting. If you talk about
We do our hazing
community,
stories next.
goodbye. We're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much for having me, you guys. This has been a phenomenal episode on my podcast. You found my notes with your host, Shemeka Bly. We're gonna head out. All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.